Hey everyone, it's Dominic the Primetime Treasure Hunter. Thanks for coming by to check out another video. Earlier this year, I did a video that a lot of people have commented on and thanked me for, which is a video on how to safely pack and ship Funko Pops. You've probably seen these in toy stores and places like Target and Walmart. If you're not familiar with them and don't know quite what the heck they are basically a line of vinyl figures. For the most part, they're vinyl. There are some that are not, but the vast majority of them are. And they're basically, little toy models of popular figures in either pop culture, like this one here of Princess Diana, and like here of Queen Elizabeth. But there's also ones for comic book characters and people from TV shows and movies and that sort of thing. And so they're highly collectible because on the back of the boxes, they often show other ones in series. Some of them are released in series. Now, some of them are just released as exclusives, and there's only that one, and they don't come within a set. But sometimes, people will try and collect all that there are within a particular series. And it's interesting that although there are some people that use them kind of casually as toys and will open the box and play with them as figures, there are other people, more hardcore collectors, who will use them as essentially trophy pieces to display. Now, a lot of times what happens is that display gets out of control because these Funko Pops can get quite addicting, and people wind up getting overwhelmed by them, and they wind up selling off the entire lot. And that's how I wind up acquiring these lots of Funko Pops, and I sell a lot of them. They sell very well. It just depends on the nature of the Funkos that are in there in terms of whether or not they're going to be valuable or not. So I've done other discussions on that topic. I'm not going to dwell on that here. What I want to talk about is how to safely ship them when you have more than one that's sold at the same time. Because I did a video, and I'll link to it at the end, on how to safely ship one of them, but sometimes it makes sense to lot them together. For example, the Diana Funko Pop, this particular one is not particularly valuable. However, there's another Diana Funko Pop that is worth over $20. So it really just depends. That one has an exclusive sticker on the front of it. As you can see, this one does not. So you're always looking for those exclusive stickers, as I have mentioned before in other videos. Now, this one here, Queen Elizabeth II, she sells all right, like a $12, $13 figure. So what I basically did is I just lotted these two together and sold them as a unit, as a conceptual unit, because it would make sense to sell Princess Di together with Queen Elizabeth. So these two sold for 20 bucks. Now, I don't want them to get damaged, because for a collector who's purchasing these, if the box gets dented along the way, or the plastic gets creased, or the boxes get crushed, that's a ticket to likely a neutral or possibly a negative feedback, depending on how you handle it. A return request is likely as well, and you're going to be out all your money and maybe even take a loss on it, depending on what the value of the pops were. So my goal here is to teach you a way to ship these out so that they do not get damaged, or that you significantly decrease the chance that they will get damaged. If you look at my feedback, you will not see anything at all related to any complaints about damaged pops, because the way I do it, they just don't get damaged. It's as foolproof of a system as you're going to get without putting them into what's known as Funko Pop protectors or pop protectors. And those pop protectors are basically little plastic cases that you could put over them. However, they do add some degree of weight to it, and they're not a perfect system in and of themselves. If you just casually throw Funko Pops in a box with Funko Pop protectors on them, they still could get damaged. So you really have to have a system in place that will make it work. Now, if you don't sell Funko Pops and maybe you sell other things that kind of have a flimsy cardboard and flimsy plastic on the front, like this plastic window, the system that I'm going to show you here could work as well. So it's not that complicated, and it's similar to how we ship the one, but it's a little bit different of a tweak. So let me show you how I do this. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put Princess Diana up here. We're going to start with Queen Elizabeth and just take a little small sheet of bubble wrap here, just enough to wrap her up, and we want her to be nice and warm because it's winter time, it's cold out there, so we want to put her in a little blanket here, a blanket of bubble wrap, and so we'll just wrap her up right there. She does have a little dog with her too, so we don't want the dog to get cold, so we'll just wrap it up right here. Take a couple pieces of tape. I like to put 3 pieces on, one on the top, one in the middle, and one on the other side. So 3 pieces like that, and notice I'm leaving just enough wrap on each side so that I could fold them in, just like you're wrapping a present for Christmas time. And just usually like a couple pieces of tape here will be sufficient, and then we're just gonna do that on the other end as well, right over here. And I'm not going to bore you. Hopefully I'm not boring you. I'm going to skip ahead and do the other one, and then we'll cut back once that one's done. All right, so now we're all set. We have both Funko Pops wrapped up in the bubble wrap. So now what we have to do is provide an added layer of protection by putting on some pre-cut pieces of cardboard on the back of the Funko, and we're also going to put it on the front as well. Now the front is especially important because this is the part that's going to be displayed by the collector, and it also has the plastic part that is highly prone to getting damaged, so we don't want that to happen. So we have to make sure that the cardboard that's used is thick enough so that it provides a meaningful level of protection. You don't want to use a paper-thin cardboard that's not really going to do anything. This is a good example of what I mean. You could see there's a nice little bit of corrugation to it, and that could really help in terms of providing some additional needed cushioning that you have. Now what I would suggest is, have some bigger pieces of cardboard laying around that you could just, cut from to cut these pieces. Once you cut the first one out based on the size of the back of the box, then you could just cut around and use this as a template so you could cut your additional pieces. Don't continuously take bigger pieces and come back over to the Funko Pop and pre-cut it, because 2 reasons for that. One, it wastes time, and the other thing is if you have scissors near a Funko Pop, it increases the chances you're going to drop it onto it and you're going to damage it, and you don't want that to happen. So now if you're doing a ton of Funkos, you may want to just pre-cut a whole bunch of these so you have them ready. So anyway, you're just going to start with the back and tape it onto the back like so. So I'm just going to put this right here, put a piece of tape this way, and I'm going to put a piece of tape over here as well. So now we've got it taped, we've got it protected right on the back. We're going to do another piece right over here as well. I already have some tape on this one, so it'll just go down real easy. And now we've got to do the other side as well. Now this part is a little different from when we do one Funko Pop, because when we do one Funko Pop, it's going to lay like this. This will be the bottom, this will be the top, and what I would do in this situation where we have one is I would take large bubbles, coat the top of it with the large bubble wrap, and then take the cardboard and put it on top so that we've got the flap of the box touching down onto the cardboard, which will prevent crushing of the plastic. However, in this situation, what we're going to do is when we put these in the box, as you'll see, we're going to face the plastic parts, which are the most vulnerable parts. We're going to face those inwards onto one another, because that is going to decrease the chance that they are going to get damaged is when the most vulnerable areas are in the center of the box as opposed to around the edges. The edges are the most vulnerable to outer forces that are banging up against it. So when you have them like this, you really decrease the chance significantly that there's going to be any significant damage. Now, if you just did it like this, that's not going to be sufficient if you didn't put cardboard there. You need to have cardboard protection there. So we're going to just put this right here. Protect this part right there. Protect this part over here. Take another piece of tape. Make sure we get the cardboard on there. And here. So the difference now is when, if anything caused them to press together, you've got two pieces of cardboard that are pressing together, not the plastic windows. You don't want that to happen. So it's like a bumper almost. That's how you kind of think of it. So now what we have to do is we have to find the right size box. So picking the right size box is absolutely critical when shipping Funko Pops. What a lot of people do, and this is where their downfall is they will take a small box like this and then try to cram the Funko Pop inside of it, and it may just fit in, but the problem is there's not enough area around it for cushioning to go, and so it easily winds up getting crushed during the mail delivery. Another problem that people will have is they'll get a box that's too big and they'll just toss the Funko inside of it. Maybe they put some bubble wrap around it, but the problem is they haven't protected the areas where there are voids and openings and air pockets, and so the Funko is constantly moving and jostling around, and especially if it's going coast to coast, by the time it gets there, you know, here's an example of this, another Funko Pop. I mean, this cardboard and plastic is just too fragile to withstand that, so it's going to get damaged. And when Funko Pop collectors are looking for who to purchase from, one of the things they're going to do is they're going to look at your feedback. And if your feedback contains comments such as the Funko Pops were badly damaged, the Funko Pops were, you know, as such that I couldn't display them, anything like that is going to turn off collectors and they're not going to purchase from you. That's why I say it's essential to try to prevent a problem like this from occurring. And if one does occur, you see my video from yesterday on trying to apply the best possible customer service you have, because like I just said, those bad feedbacks can be enough to prevent buyers from purchasing a similar type of item from you. And trust me when I tell you this, that Funko Pop collectors are very, very serious about their Funkos and about the condition, and they're very finicky and picky about who they are going to purchase from. So you need to establish a good reputation. And that's the other thing about putting in a system like this, is that when you get a reputation established that you know how to ship these, that they come in great condition, the Funko Pop collectors are going to let you know about that and give you really positive feedback so that other Funko collectors know about you and know that you are legit and that you know what you're doing, and that cues them in that you're a safe person to purchase from. So keep all those things in mind. So the box size that I would suggest if you're going to be shipping out 2 Funko Pops is the 10 by 8 by 6 again. This is the same size box that I use for shipping out 1. Now, when I ship out 1, I have it laying down, and then we have that plastic part, the top of it, being what's the top, facing the top part of the box. But when we have 2, we turn them inwards towards one another to prevent damage. That way, we utilize both of these fronts together as actual areas which we could use the surface area for as protection by having that cardboard right there as I described earlier. So I already made up a 10 by 8 by 6 box to save a little bit of time right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a layer of air cushions and I'm just going to put it right on the bottom like this. So this just provides a bed of protection on the bottom of the box. What we're going to do now is we're going to actually take the Funkos facing the fronts inwards like I discussed earlier, and putting them right in the center of the box. And that's going to leave you with a little bit of space on each side, which is fine. You want that. You're going to fill it in just a moment, but you want that little bit of space there so you could put some additional protective cushioning in there. Now, it's not big enough for air cushions or air pillows, which is what we would use if we had one Funko Pop. But this situation is a little bit different. Now that we have two in there, it's taking up additional space. It's still allowing for there to be some space, just not quite as much as if we only had one. So what I would suggest using in this situation, and this is why you have to have lots of different supplies available on hand to deal with different types of situations that are going to come up in your business. But what I would suggest is that you get some large bubbles like this, and you could either fold them over and put them into the box, or you could face them like this way, so you have the bubble part itself, not the flat part, but the bubble part facing the item that you want protected. That is the recommended way that you should do it. So here, for example, on this side, I'm just going to take this large bubble wrap. I'm going to, fold it over a bit right here, and I'm just going to put it right here on that side, and it's going to give me a nice little area of cushioning. Now on the other side, I'm just going to use and just cut one little strip of it. I already pre-cut it right here. And sometimes you have to cut this part off, just whatever is big enough to fit on that side of the box. Notice I'm facing the bubble part inwards towards the item, not outwards towards the box. So it's inwards, just like so. Push it down. Okay, so now we have a layer of protection here with large bubble wrap, a layer of protection here with large bubble wrap. Don't worry about the sides over here because they're already going to be pressed nice and snugly against the walls of the box. I love saying snugly in my videos. I should do that more in 2019. But anyway, you don't have significant void space there. That's why you don't have to worry about it, and you'll be fine with the small bubble wrap that you have around it. You'll be okay with that. It's only when you have larger areas of void space that you need to make sure you're providing some extra cushioning there. Now what you don't want to do at this point is just close the flaps and then just put the label on it and ship it off. The reason for that is because you still have vulnerable plastic here that needs some additional protection. Now what you may be wondering is say, well, okay, why not just face the cardboard side of the box up and then have the plastic side face down? The reason being is that if I did that, when it's facing down like that, it's pressing against those air cushions, and that's not as good of a type of protection compared to what I'm going to show you we're going to do on the top part. And what we're going to do for the top part is we are just going to take another layer of cardboard here, and we're going to just place it right over the top like this and put some tape down on it like that, just to make sure it stays firm in place so it covers all the plastic. And then you can close your flaps, and if any pressure comes on the outside of it like this, I feel like I'm playing the accordion while I'm doing this video, but when you push it in like that, any pressure is going to go directly onto the cardboard and not directly onto the plastic. And so that's going to protect it. It's not going to get damaged that way. So then at that point, all you really have to do is you just have to tape it up. So you just tape up the box and you're all set. That's it. I like to tape the other sides as well. I've said that in other videos. Maybe overkill, but in the winter time, the reason why I do this is I've seen some crazy ways that packages have been delivered so that the box is like faced this way onto someone's porch in a bunch of snow, and then the snow seeps in through the seams and it gets into the item. And so to prevent that from happening, I just like to close off any possible air seams and things like that, because Murphy's Law is that that's going to happen to me and someone's going to get a damaged item and I'm going to be the one getting blamed for it, even though I'm not the one who put it onto the porch. You all know how that story goes. So that's pretty much it. That's how I would suggest packing up 2 Funko Pops so that they don't get damaged. Now, you may have another way that you use or another type of strategy or something like that, and that's fine if it works for you. But if you're not familiar with how to do this, this is a good method to use. As I said, it's tried, it's true, it's tested. There's absolutely no problems I've ever had using this system. And you don't have to worry about that it's going to cost you more money because you're putting another layer of cardboard on top. Once it goes over a pound, and it's between 1 pound and, once it's over 1 pound, so it's between above a pound and 2 pounds, it's going to cost the same to ship it if you just control for what location it's going to. So going to Florida, for example, from New York, it's going to cost the same amount whether it's 1 pound and 1 ounce or 1 pound and 11 ounces. It's just going to be the same. That's how Priority Mail does it. So, you know, and assuming obviously that the package size is the same, because package size is also something that affects how much it's going to cost you to ship something, which is why I suggest using these 10 by 8 by 6 eBay boxes, which you can purchase through the eBay shipping supply store. I suggest if you have an eBay store, you use your $25 credit every quarter. If you have a basic store, if you have more advanced stores, then you know, you could get additional shipping credits every quarter, and then you could just get these and not have to pay, you know, anything significant for them at all. I tend to order them in lots of 50. So I'll get 50 of them at a time and use them. And they're really helpful for the Funkos because they're not overly big, yet they're also not too constricting. So they are just right. And that's what we always want in life, right? We want things to be just right, like Goldilocks said in Goldilocks and 3 Bears. So that's how we want to do it, and that's pretty much it. That's how you do the 2 Funko Pops together. Remember, it's not an uncommon thing that you're going to ship 2 of them at the same time. So hopefully this method is something that you can use in your business. And remember to watch the video at the end that I'm going to put up if you haven't seen it, on how to ship out 1 of these. It's a little bit of a different system, but also works very, very well. With that being said, let me transition on to something else. The next video that I am going to do is going to be my first anniversary live show. That is December 28th, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you're there. There's going to be giveaways, lots of fun, reflecting on the past, looking forward towards the future, question and answer, all sorts of stuff. I'm really, really looking forward to looking back over this past year. It's hard to believe that tomorrow, at the time I'm filming this, which is December 27th, that tomorrow was the day I made my first ever YouTube video. Absolutely crazy. What a journey it's been. And thanks to all of you, all the members of the Primetime family. I really appreciate all the fangirls, the fan guys. Thanks so much. I can't wait to talk to you all tomorrow, so make sure you're there. If you're brand new watching this video for the first time, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. Also, come by, check out the Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center that I run. There's almost 5,000 members in that group. We've got tons of fun and exciting things going on there. And I just crossed over into 1,000 Instagram followers today, which is great because that is a nice symbolic rebuilding of my account after I lost it once I hit 1,200. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that 1,200 number and then advancing from there into next year. So that's @prime_time_treasure. See you all at the next video, everybody.